Hello and welcome to Nice and Blunt. Time for another live stream. Today is July 9th, 8:30 p.m. Let us begin. Okay, there is a new tournament launched on Underdog today. It is already filling quickly, 18,000 entrants, and I just noticed it literally like 5 minutes ago when I logged in and tried to set up this live stream. So we are going to hop into this Puppy 2 tournament, 100K to first, and the advance rates are kind of typical for Underdog. Better than Best Ball Mania, but with a lower entry fee. Don't expect to make as much as you could in Best Ball Mania. 1 out of 10 in week 15, 1 out of 10 in week 16. Decent odds. Could be better, could be worse. 375 seat final. What do you make if you get to the final round? Looks like $750. And then obviously it moves up from there. Let's say we finish top 10, we'd make $7,000. Top 3, $50K, and then first prize does get 100K. So this is the tournament. Tonight we'll be doing 3 of these, and if you want to join me, you can hop in. You can click that button right now, and I'm on a minor delay. I will join as well. Oh no, location error. Fuck. It juked me. Shit. Should have known. When I was doing a deposit earlier, it gave me a location problem. Apologies, everyone. I hope you're able to get out if you really wanted to draft with me. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes y'all are just here to watch. Okay, I've got it on my phone. I'm ready to go. Hit that button right now. If you're trying to do it again, I will join with you. I'm in 3 spots left. 3 spots left. We'll do the second one on the phone as well. But what pick do I get? Looks like pick 9. And it looks like Underdog updated their graphics. Everything's a little bit more... I don't know if it's cleaner or what the right word would be. But it is a little bit different. Just a little bit different. Jamie, welcome in. Welcome in, my friend. Shamrock, in with us at pick 3. Love to see it. You got a good pick there. And let me make sure I'm situated properly. Yeah, that's what we want. Okay. All right. I got some coconut water in a mug. I got everything I need. Jamie says perfect timing. Just got off this live podcast over at First Six Pack. 4 of these streams now. I think I'm going to be... Usually when I was doing them midday on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I was not as busy. Now I'm editing during that time. I do have my top 42 running backs being edited, already edited, excuse me. It's being uploaded at the moment. It is being uploaded. So that'll be posted in the morning. I'll let that get onto YouTube as I'm live streaming right now. And hopefully it doesn't lead to any connection problems. I am getting a message. There was a slight dilemma there. Hope it didn't lag for you. Let me know if there was a lag. Let me know. Lots of static. Ooh, that's not good. That's unfortunate. Let me do something real quick. Okay, we go with Puka. We got sniped on some running backs. I should be back Let me know if there's some more audio problems. I hope that does not continue. That'd be a bummer. But we did the old Nintendo 64 cartridge trick. I unplugged the microphone, not just from the mic itself, but also from the computer. You just blow into that fucking USB port, both of them. And good to see. Always works. Always works. But yeah, she's here with us. She's off screen, already complaining to me. But we're back on the clock. And getting kind of boxed out of running back a little bit. I'm very tempted to go Bucky Irving, but I will just grab the second wide receiver on this team. We'll go elite wide receiver to start off this tournament. I'm going to draft at least 20 of these teams. I will invest at least $100 into the puppy tournament at $5 a pop. So not going to panic about a lack of running back depth so far in this draft. We get an excellent Week 15 bring back. Week 17, excuse me. That's where all the money is made for the most part in this tournament. If we do advance to Week 17, we will have that Rams-Falcons game. I believe that's a Monday night matchup. It's either Monday or Sunday. I think it's Monday. And that one should be a barn burner. Last year's Monday Week 17 game was Detroit-San Francisco, and that one had a shit ton of fantasy points available. This one's going to be in a dome, and Raheem Morris versus Sean McVay should be popping. And who knows, maybe we go with Devontae Adams at pick 33. That'd be phenomenal if we can get it. Bobby J asking, Adam, if you're comfortable sharing, do you currently work a full-time job? And if so, how did you get into it in the process of job hunting? Thanks and love the channel. I have 3 part-time jobs. That is what I do. I have 3 part-time jobs. During the fantasy season, I would say the channel becomes a full-time job. And then I just work kind of just like well over 60 hours per week. But I do the channel. I also drive Uber, not ashamed to admit it. And then I've also been a SAG actor since I was a kid. And since I've been back in LA, since COVID, the opportunities are slim. But on occasion, I do find my way onto set and I do act. Mostly background, pretty much just background these days. I've been a stand-in before. I've been a photo double before. Technically, I've also been a stunt double, some minor stunts. But I've been an actor since I was a young one, and sometimes I do work in Hollywood, but not as much these days. Definitely not as much. No problem. Have you ever watched My Name is Earl? I have a guest spot in My Name is Earl. Okay, JSN is on the thumbnail. Only falls one spot, but I'm not really a fan of Breece Hall or Kyron Williams at this price. I'm going to go JSN, and we're going to have 3 high-end receivers. Yes, full-time cat dad as well. Full-time cat dad. Good luck on the job search, Bobby. Good luck to you, man. I'm already realizing what I don't really love about this new layout is that the X button, maybe I can show it to you. Gotta scroll. You see the button to click out of this in the top left corner that just slid over as I moved the board? That is really small. That is a very small button. It's not the end of the world, but I feel like you could technically fumble to click that if you really need to. I know, I wish that season, that show did have a 4th season. It was set up to have one, just didn't happen. Or maybe it was season 5 that it needed. I forget if it went 3 or 4 seasons, but Yeah, I played the French foreign exchange student, season 2, I believe episode 15. That was me. Love that show. Okay. Um, we got Puka, Drake, London, JSN. We should probably grab a running back, but very tempted to go Jaden Daniels. I'm going to let the clock expire and take him at pick 40. Right at ADP. I think you're mistaking me for a different episode. I was in the flashback scenes. I played the young French foreign exchange student. Got choked out in the bathroom because I embarrass young Earl with his dumb answers on the math test. Okay, Puka, London, JSN, Jaden Daniels. We have the elite quarterback. That feels nice. And who knows, maybe we get Debo at pick 81. I'm not desperate to stack up Daniels. Like, it's nice. It's obviously ideal. I'm sure the team with Terry's a little bit pissed. But Daniels is up here because of his rushing value. You can exit the draft without a stack with Jaden Daniels. Yep. The 80s setting. No, you cannot. Yeah, we can get away with Daniels and just the rushing value. I think he's going to be, at worst, QB4 next season. Last year, the only reason I was worried about Daniels was his ability to stay healthy. And while he did miss a little bit of time with some rib injuries, he did come back very strong after just a few weeks. And his stats didn't dip that bad when he was off the field. What was crazy is how well Marcus Mariota played in his absence. If you look at the games with Marcus Mariota as the quarterback, holy shit, Mariota was fucking killing it. It's almost tempting to draft Mariota as just an insurance policy on occasion, but here what the hell? What the helly? I'll take a look at that after our pick, but just to prove a point. I guess we got some time here. Okay, here's the game log. Week 7, Mariota, 205 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and then another 34 rushing yards. That's not insane, but then in week 17, another 2 touchdowns, rushing touchdown, 56 rushing yards. He did have some decent fantasy value filling in. Obviously, we're not drafting Mariota, but it's kind of just interesting to point out. Juwan Greer, I have pick 11. I'm thinking I'm going A-Chain Bowers or A-Chain CMC. Let me make that my pick and then let you know my thoughts. Wow, Kenneth Walker gets sniped, so we don't get to pair London. My highest ranked would be Joe Mixon here. I have him one spot above Kamara, and I'd rather invest in the Texans offense than the Saints offense. Kamara hopefully is fine, but at age 30, got to have some concerns. And Kellen Moore does not use pass-catching running backs at the same rate as we should expect from Kamara last season. I would expect his numbers to dip a little bit in the pass department. And that's what he really relies on, because you're not expecting a shit ton of touchdowns in New Orleans. And then another reason why I don't draft him a ton on underdog is because of his age, where the Saints suck. And unless he gets traded, if he gets banged up mid-season, he is far more likely to miss time at the end of the year than the beginning of the year, or weeks 5 through 8. Hypothetically, if he missed another 3 weeks like he did last season. He missed the fantasy playoffs last year, and that was a shame. So because all the money you make on underdog is mainly in the fantasy playoffs, that's my biggest concern with Kamara, why I'm not like dying to take him that often. If he is inactive for me, it's when I'm probably going to need him most. So that is a big reason why I pass on Kamara in general. But I do have Mixon ranked one spot above Kamara straight up. So I have him in a different tier as well. Mixon, when active, was averaging like 17 fantasy points per game while healthy, and that's hard to replicate. Even though Kamara was just as good when healthy, Mixon was also phenomenal when active. I'm not that worried about Nick Chubb. But back to your question, Juwan. If you can get McCaffrey at pick 11, I would gladly take McCaffrey. I have A-Chain at running back 5. I would happily take A-Chain as well at pick 11. But personally, I think you can still get some good tight end values later. And that's why if I was picking one of these two strategies, Juwan, I would go A-Chain and CMC. Granted, to Cobra's point, are you getting McCaffrey at pick 11? I don't think so. If you can, that's dope. Okay, so the team has Daniels, Joe Mixon, Trayvon Henderson. It looks like Debo just flew off the board. So we are not going to get Debo. He goes pick 69. And there's a run on running back right now. Pacheco up at 74. I understand that. I get it with Pacheco. The upside on Pacheco is actually really, really enticing. Pacheco's either going to crush or absolutely fade into just nothing. Like, we may never hear from Pacheco again after this season if he is indeed injury-riddled and never the same. He looked washed coming off the leg injury last year, but can you blame him? He kind of rushed back. Then he also had a rib injury, I think. Oh, wow. Those picks were fast. Okay, we have two running backs. Our pick of Golden and Jaden Reed. I have a lot of Matthew Golden already. I'm going to go with Jaden Reed instead. I think they're both pretty much identical. But Golden might be a little more consistent on a week-to-week basis. Jaden Reed might be more explosive. And I think in best ball, the higher ceiling explosive player is maybe the player you should be targeting just a little bit more. But straight up, I do have more Matthew Golden this year investments than Jaden Reed. So that's the main decision on going Jaden Reed here above Matthew Golden. I like them both equally, like I mentioned. I think on the year they're going to have very similar stat lines. I think Dobbs might be fading. Kraft should probably be good. But these top two receivers in Green Bay have the potential to pop. I'm not worried about Christian Watson returning. But who knows? I could be wrong. Maybe he plays a little bit. I doubt it. But it is possible. Kind of wish I had another running back, but this is not the tier to be grabbing them. No desire to reach on Jordan Mason, let alone some of those other running backs. I will go Darnell Mooney, one of my most drafted players in this round. And whenever I have Drake London, I like the excuse to maybe take Michael Penix later. I am a Penix believer this year. So the receiving core, very strong. That is the highlight of this squad. We have Puka, London, JSN, top 3 rounds. And then we also have Jaden Reed, Darnell Mooney to balance it out. So 5 receivers. We can probably get away with just 7 in this draft. And then elite QB with Jaden Daniels. I will try to stack him up with some tight ends later on. I might grab both Zach Ertz and Ben Sennett just for the sake of ensuring Ertz. I'm worried that Ertz comes off the field pretty quickly. Ertz is 34 years old. And 2 years ago, he barely played like 6 weeks. And then was basically just cut by the Cardinals. They moved on to Trey McBride, and the rest is history. But at running back, we're going to need to catch up. We're probably going to need to draft 6 running backs on this team. But I think I can get away with the Joe Mixon, Travion Henderson combo for the moment. Hopefully we don't get sniped too much. But there were some heavy runs on the position. Like in round 7, 6 RBs went off in the 8 picks before we took Jaden Reed. That was just kind of unlucky. We didn't get a single good value. And then in round 1, we had 5 running backs off the board before our pick 9. Around the turn at 2-3, all the good ones went off. And I could have justified a James Cook or Omarion Hampton selection instead of Jaden Daniels, but we mixed it up. We went with the elite quarterback this time. And so far, I don't regret it. By round 15, maybe we'll reevaluate, and perhaps we'll feel differently. But if a guy like Jaylen Warren comes back around at 105, I'll probably take Jaylen Warren. I feel like I kind of need a bit of a decent floor on this roster. Like if Mixon misses time, that could be rough. Henderson might have a slow start. He has very high upside. I'm a believer in Henderson, but to guarantee he's in our lineup in the month of September is a little bit shaky. One more pick, and then I'll go Jaylen Warren. He's still on the board, but watch him get sniped. The snipe feels imminent. No, they get Tyron Tracy. All right, let's do it. Let's go Jaylen Warren. There is a shot that Warren is the RB1 in Pittsburgh. There is nothing promised or guaranteed to Caleb Johnson. And we all know that Aaron Rodgers does not like rookies. He lacks the patience for the rookies to stay on the field and for him to trust them. So he could get frustrated very quickly, and especially if they don't trust Caleb Johnson in pass protection, Jaylen Warren may be lobbied for to stay on the field. There could be Jaylen Warren with a tremendous snap share this year. It is possible. I wouldn't totally bet on it. I still think Caleb Johnson's the more talented prospect. Definitely more capable of popping. If anything, I think Warren's still just like a floor play. Only had 1 touchdown last year. There's a world where Jaylen Warren is absolute trash. But wow, at pick 112, do I just take Travis Kelce? He's fallen this far. It's a decent price. You all know I'm a Chiefs hater, and I kind of like keeping it that way. But at pick 112, I think I can justify Travis Kelce on this roster. I think I can justify it. Yes, I was, Jamie. Yes, I was. Cobra lobbying for Mason Rudolph. Doesn't believe Rodgers is making it many games. I mean, it's definitely possible. We could get another Achilles injury week 1. That would be kind of, maybe not funny, but ironic. Maybe destined to happen. But, yeah, we just don't know what is really going to happen with Caleb Johnson. I like him. I thought he was a really good prospect. I didn't like his landing spot, and I think especially with the veteran QB, there could be some frustration that leads to Caleb Johnson getting benched. Rodgers just does not have the patience. So Warren knows the offense. Warren's going to have the upper hand, and especially with a learning curve on Caleb Johnson. If Rodgers wants to be audibling out of plays and the expertise is a big factor, I really could envision Jaylen Warren just outpacing him in snap share by like, a lot higher than we anticipate. Because already, Warren's getting like 40% minimum. Maybe just a straight 50-50 split, but if it's 65-35 in favor of Jaylen Warren, that's not impossible. Anyways, love that I got a discount on Warren and then this drastic discount on Travis Kelce. The team with Mahomes did pass, and nobody else wanted him. So this will be a slightly unique combo. Not going to be super, super common. And as our tight end 1, while I do think he's not going to be that productive on the goal line, it's possible Kelce still has another year left in him. At this price, I think he's a much better pick than where he normally goes at pick 99. Full round cheaper on Kelce. But I know I need running back. Goff off the board. I expect to be sniped on Tyjae here. But who knows, maybe not. Nope. That's good for us. Okay, I'll take Tyjae. Tyjae also a potential RB1 in his offense. Similar to Jaylen Warren, it's unlikely, but it's definitely possible. Tyjae was dealing with injuries last year. He missed 5 total games. He had a lot of different types of ailments. He had like an ankle sprain, hamstring injury, multiple concussions. He was like never 100%, but he was still kind of effective. And this shocked me. How old do you guys think Tony Pollard is? In the chat, how old do you think Tony Pollard is? I'm going to give it a couple minutes. Let me know. What age do you think Tony Pollard is? Don't look it up. I'll take Tootin. Okay, we got 26, 27, 26, 27. Ant is correct. Tony Pollard's 28. Isn't that like shocking? He doesn't feel 28. It doesn't feel like he's been in the league that long. But a lot of his production was just shadowed behind Ezekiel Elliott. And there's really only like 2 years of like being the RB1 in an offense. Yeah. Pollard is sneaky old. Like before I looked it up, I also would have guessed 26. But yeah, here's his age, 28.2. We talk about other 28-year-olds as a bit of a risk, like David Montgomery. While he is going higher, some people are worried Montgomery's going to miss time as well. Tyjae has some legitimate contingent value. And then in the one game when Tyjae was the starter, Tyjae fucking really was productive. He didn't score a touchdown, but he was the starter in week 16. He had 20 rush attempts, 95 rushing yards. Like I said, no touchdown, but then 3 catches, another 8 yards. So 103 yards from scrimmage as the starter in week 16. I wouldn't expect him to average that, but still. He had just under 12 points in week 16 without a touchdown. So you add a touchdown to that, that's 18. And that's the type of upside we're looking for from Tyjae Spears. Legitimate path for success. Okay, kind of need to get lucky The team before me with Joe Burrow does not have a justification to take Penix, but Penix at this price is a good value, so I probably get sniped. Hoping I don't. We did snipe him on Jaden Daniels, so he might, yeah, bit of a gamble there, but I can still go Stafford with Puka. We're still in good shape here with Stafford. I do not feel compelled to take Algier. None of these wide receivers feel different from each other. The one I probably want the most is Pat Bryant, who I think will be coming back around. And I don't feel super confident that Stafford is available. I think that team with Kyron could take him. They only have Caleb, Jordan Love. So we go Stafford here to grab our backup QB. And it's definitely possible that Stafford outperforms Penix straight up. The team was a little bit more stacked up for Penix, but Penix gets sniped by one pick. We do not get lucky. But Puka was our first round pick, so Puka's fine. I also have the Darnold stack available if I really want it. So, not the end of the world at all. Was that apple to the back of the head real? Yes and no. It was a real apple, but they hollowed it out and then they filled it with a bunch of apple chunks. And then I also had like a bunch of padding on the back of the hat. So while yes, it was real and like it probably would have hurt, I didn't feel it. Just visual effects. I think it's a decent time to get back in at receiver, so I'm going to go Pat Bryant. A lot of good coach speak regarding Pat Bryant. Some comps to Michael Thomas. The new slant man, everyone, Pat Bryant. One reason to be kind of legitimately concerned about Courtland Sutton. I'm still drafting Courtland Sutton. I'm not going to panic. But with Ingram and Pat Bryant in the offense, perhaps eating into his target share, Sutton is a little touchdown dependent and could be the Pat Bryant show. Especially if Sutton goes down. There's, really no one that's a clear front runner for that wide receiver one role if Sutton does go down. So some contingent upside, mainly with Pat Bryant, but could have a legit role. We saw Devon Vele have some weeks relevant in the top 50 last year. We saw Marvin Mims close the year strong, but Mims is not a guarantee to work out. And comparing the Marvin Mims price at 123 to Pat Bryant 160, I think I'd rather just fade Mims in round 11, take all those values at running back, tight end, and quarterback instead, and grab someone who's capable of not only outperforming him, but at worst putting up similar numbers on the year as Mims. But Mims is a bit more of a deep threat. Mims kind of makes a little bit more sense in best ball. His price, though, is just too high for my liking. Thanks, man. Some of the visual effects in that episode that I was involved in were fun. There was like a spitball that like hit me in the forehead, and they had like this air gun. Like, there was like legitimate velocity to that thing because they needed it to land like dead center, and they weren't going to risk. There's so much money on the budgets of that show that they don't have the time to try and have it actually happen in real life. You might be wasting hours trying to get a real spitball to land where you want it. So just a few takes. There's like just a high velocity air gun with like a 2-3 foot nozzle to shoot that thing. And then also learned like the stunt involved in like choking on camera. Like if you ever see someone getting choked, there's really no contact at all on the throat. Dang, Ertz goes. Okay, so I'm getting my boy Senate later on, but Ertz is taken. That's unfortunate. Do I just grab Darnold here? Maybe. But I need tight end. I'm going to go Gesicki. Week 10 bye, damn it. Didn't pay attention to the bye week. Okay, so if you ever see someone getting choked, what it is there's a lot of pressure being applied in the thumbs. Like the thumbs are being pushed up against each other, and that's what creates like the tension that like looks like you're choking someone, and then you sell it in acting, but with like one hand you're like holding on to someone's like shoulder, and then the thumbs are being pushed into each other, and that's what creates the illusion of someone getting choked out. Okay, there's 3 rounds left. I've got 5 running backs, 6 receivers. I need a third tight end, and I want 6 running backs, so I can't afford Darnold here. I'm gonna take my boy Dante Thornton. Actually, no, I will not. I think I'm gonna take Justice Hill. Yeah, timer was fast. Jaden Daniels, Matthew Stafford, Joe Mixon, Travion Henderson, Jalen Warren, Tyjae Spears, Bashal Tutin, Justice Hill on this team. And then at wide receiver, Puka Nacua, Drake London, JSN, Jaden Reed, Darnell Mooney, Pat Bryant. I need another receiver, another tight end. And I probably go Terrence Ferguson instead of Ben Sennett. I kind of regret the Gesicki pick, but he was slightly after ADP. And these 20-second timers are coming up on me, man. If you're not ready, you can definitely miss out on it. I should probably have somebody stacked up with Daniels, though, right? Commanders, we could go Noah Brown, Jalen Lane, Luke McCaffrey. No one's ever drafting Jalen Lane, it seems. Rookie wide receiver. Everyone seems to have given up on McCaffrey. And then Noah Brown, other than that Hail Mary, not usually a wise investment. But let's just queue him up, and I can pick one if I really want to. And then Rams, there's Tutu Atwell, Jordan Whittington, Terrence Ferguson. And it's a bit of a toss-up between Sennett and Ferguson. Maybe I'll go Sennett instead, and then I'll grab, like, Whittington. I was mainly planning for Whittington. Ben Sennett this whole time. So yeah, I really wish I didn't have Gesicki. Instead of Gesicki, who should I have taken? Like Will Shipley or like a running back there instead of Justice Hill. I think I would have preferred that. Because now in week 10, I'm really relying on this tight end, and like Ferguson is probably the much safer bet, but I really want a Commanders stack, and I don't really feel good about those receivers. Fuck. No, I'm going to play it safer. I'm going to go Terrence Ferguson, and then we'll gamble with the Washington receivers. Noah Brown, Jalen Lane. What's the deal with Jalen Lane? I often forget about him, but drafted in round 4, runs a 4.3 40, 5'10", 191 pounds. Best comp is Kadarius Toney, so he's got butterfingers. Played for Virginia Tech. Middle Tennessee before that. Played all 4 years in college. Nap God wants Luke McCaffrey. I'm on the clock. Hurry up and load. He was around 3 pick. You know what? Nap God. We will go Luke McCaffrey. Probably a 0, but our receiving core is really strong. I'm not really counting on this player in the first place. Very, very legitimate point. Very legit. Is Michael Gallup in Washington? They have Noah Brown, Jalen Lane. I think they also have KJ Osborne. Yeah, KJ Osborne's also there. Is KJ Osborne just washed? He had a rough year in New England. That's where most receivers go to die. But before I go on to another draft, let's take a look at Shamrock's team. We kind of forgot about Shamrock for a while, but Shamrock's in here with us, picking out of the 3 slot. He goes Justin Jefferson, Josh Jacobs, T. Higgins. Love the start. Omarion Hampton at pick 4. Fuck yeah. Waddle in round 5 feels wise. Waddle in round feels good. Jacoby Myers, you know I love that. Judkins, maybe not my favorite pick, but considering all the running backs available in that range, absolutely justified. Might have gone receiver just because I feel really strong about Jacobs and Hampton, but Judkins isn't the type of tier where you're not going to be able to replicate that. And if you want to move off of running back for a while, as your RB3, absolutely justified. Pick 75. That's good. Bo Nix, Evan Ingram. Not bad at all. J.J. McCarthy for the Jefferson stack. Really good team so far. Mims at 123. At least you have Bo Nix. At least with Bo Nix, it is appropriate. But I did mention earlier, don't like the price tag on Mims. Wish he was going closer to Pat Bryant. But in best ball, he is a deep threat. I get it. So with Bo Nix, that is where I will justify it. I don't think I can fault you on any of these picks. Isaiah Likely, love it. My most drafted tight end. Rashad White at 147. Braylon Allen, 166. I think Braylon is one of those valuable handcuffs to target. And then McMillan at 171. McMillan has some value. Miles Sanders, 190. How many running backs do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Very appropriate. And then Rodgers, Roman Wilson. Do you have any other Steelers? No, but it's totally fine. When with Bo Nix and J.J. McCarthy, having a third is valuable. Personally, I prefer Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones goes 215 in this draft, but you do you, bro. At least you have a stack. There is nothing. I guess you can stack with A.D. Mitchell, technically, but if you want Rodgers, go for Rodgers. Like the team, Shamrock. I think you did really well. Yeah, out of the 3 slot, I think Shamrock fucking killed this. But back to my team, how did I do? Puka, London, JSN were in the 9 slot. Jaden Daniels at pick 40. Joe Mixon, Trayvon Henderson, Jaden Reed, Darnell Mooney, Jalen Warren, Travis Kelce, Tyjae Spears, Bashal Tootin, Stafford, Pat Bryant, Gesicki, Justice Hill, Terrence Ferguson, Luke McCaffrey. Round 18 is probably not going to work out. In general, we probably should have just stuck with the Ram stack. I probably should have gone Tutu Atwell and Ben Sennett. In hindsight, I think I would have been more satisfied with my roster if I went that way. But you can't be batting 1,000, and I still think the team is decent. Running back's a little bit weird, but does have good depth. Okay. Which draft are you doing right now? We are doing yet another puppy 2. Always feels good to land the plane. Good job, Shamrock. I like the team. Okay, another puppy, and we had this problem earlier, so I will be doing it on my phone. So there is no issues. Let me queue it up. If you want to join me, I'll count it down for you. Okay, I'm ready. It's available on my phone to click. So if you want to be drafting with me, go ahead and hit the button right now. Click it right now. 3, 2, 1. I am hopping in, and hopefully the delay is synced up. There are 7 more spots. If you want one, come and get it. And you can draft with us for the audience to see. Very true, but look at any other game that's not in, that's not in the last 5 for Mims, and you might feel a little bit different about Mims. But I see Shamrock is in at pick 2 with us again. I have pick 6. Happy to have pick 6. And then I see Big Game. Looks like Jamie's in at pick 11. We were drafting with Stage 9 a few nights ago. He's in this one again. I have no idea if he's watching or not. But there is a clinger in this draft. Stage 9 at pick 3. Jamie asking, would I rather have Ingram or Ridley? Ridley for sure. Give me the receiver over the tight end. I mean, there's a world where Ingram, replicates his like 145 targets from 2 years ago. But kind of have a hard time believing that. I think this draft, the last draft we did, started off really well. And then towards the end, I never got the stacks to line up. It was not as ideal as I wanted it to be. Like, I wanted Michael Penix on that team. He was 1 pick away. We didn't get him. Had to settle for Stafford, which is not the end of the world. But also never got some Jaden Daniels stacks. Like, the only one I have stacked up with Daniels is Luke McCaffrey. That's not good. Saquon goes, we'll just take Jahmyr Gibbs. We just took Puka, so no fucking chance I'm taking Puka again. Especially with Gibbs on the board. If Mims wasn't so valuable in the fantasy playoffs, especially like week 17 last year, I don't know if he would be going as high as he does in the format, because like he was well behind Devon Vele for the majority of the season. And like he also operates on special teams, so like his snap share isn't ideal. He doesn't run like the most amount of routes, but all of a sudden Bo Nix just started chucking it deep out of desperation late as they were trying to get that 7 seed. And who knows, maybe it happens again. Maybe Mims does just slot right in to that same type of role. But the way Sean Payton's talking about Pat Bryant, I'm more interested in Pat Bryant 40 picks later than I am Marvin Mims. I also think Ingram takes some of those targets away as well. The addition of Ingram and Pat Bryant is cause for concern with last year's Broncos receivers. But Mims could still pop. I don't want to pretend like it's impossible. I just think compared to the other positions you can get in round 11, I'm not dying to draft any of those receivers. Whether it's Kyle Williams, Marvin Mims, or Christian Kirk. Jack Betch used to go there as well. Now Betch goes like 2 rounds later. They scare me a little bit. Tyreek Hill goes above A.J. Brown. I'm happy to grab A.J. Brown. That's a beautiful value there. In general, I never hate specific players. I just hate values. You have to compare the values to other picks. It's why I don't want to draft Brock Bowers here. I think Brock Bowers is going to crush. I think he's going to be great. But I also think not Travis Kelce. I also think George Kittle is going to be within a point of Bowers, maybe even a point and a half higher than Bowers on the season on a per game basis. And you can get him 2 rounds cheaper. Now, Kittle's much older. Bowers entering year 2 of his NFL career, probably a safer pick. But to pass on Bowers and get A.J. Brown at pick 19 and then scoop up Kittle at potentially pick 43, the difference between Bowers and Kittle is negligible. Meanwhile, the difference between A.J. Brown and we'd be taking like Xavier Worthy, that's pretty significant. I'd much, much rather have A.J. Brown than Xavier Worthy. Meanwhile, I think I'd rather even have Travis Kelce potentially above Brock Bowers. I don't rank him that way, but it's just price comparisons. Why I like or dislike certain players. We might get McBride. This team at 5 goes double running back. So they might pass on McBride. Yeah, they take Adams. I mean, I never really take McBride. I'm mentioning the value on Kittle that I like, but Jamie is saying I'm not getting Kittle, who's his tight end 1. Jamie is at pick 11, so McBride rarely goes this late. We'll just take him. I am very underweight on McBride. I feel like every time I do take him, it's usually at the turn, and I kind of regret it. But we just took JSN. We have Gibbs, so I don't feel that compelled to take Chase Brown, even though I think he's possibly a better pick. Let's mix it up. Let's grab the elite tight end and go Trey McBride. Jahmyr Gibbs, A.J. Brown, Trey McBride to start off this draft. So balanced approach. We'll see what happens. But Stage 9 Klinger has Marvin Harrison at pick 3. If we want the Kyler Murray stack, we're probably going to have to take him at pick 91. I think I'm going to pass on Kyler. I think I'm going to ignore Kyler to stack up and let Stage 9, I think, make the mistake of drafting Kyler. Here's the thing about Kyler. I'm going to pull something up. I normally don't show you guys these. Normally don't show you the spreadsheets that I do. But today I'm gonna do it because I don't have to do any scrolling in order to show you Kyler Murray's stats. He's literally going to be the first player on this spreadsheet. But I do compile every player's game log, and this is Kyler Murray last year. There's only 4 games other than week 18. Week 18 doesn't really count in fantasy. So technically there's 5 weeks. But if you don't count like 20 points exactly on the nose, there are very few instances where Kyler actually went over 20 fantasy points last year. I'm on the clock. Do I go James Cook? I kind of need a receiver. I'm going to go DK Metcalf instead. We went with tight end. I do not want to get buried at receiver. I'm just going to grab DK Metcalf and move on. But, okay, here's Kyler's game log. 14 points, 28.5, 14.7, 9.9, 22.1, 13.9, 20.2, 20.1, 6.7, 28.7, 10.3, 15.2, 15.9, 10 points, 20 points, 16 points. And then in week 18, when it's irrelevant, 27.8. So with the exception of 3 games where he puts up 28 points, the game log for Kyler is kind of trash. Kyler does not fit my top 10 locked-in quarterback standards when you look at that game log. There's a lot of 15 points and under from a player being drafted as quarterback 8. Doesn't feel that safe at ADP. Like, I know everyone raves about his rushing value, but literally on a per game basis, Drake May had the same amount of rushing yards as Kyler Murray. Meanwhile, Drake May goes 3 rounds later, sometimes just 2 rounds later, but still, you can get the same amount of rushing upside 25 picks later. Probably going to pass on Kyler. I think what ends up happening is because Harrison and Trey McBride go so early in the 3rd round, if you want to stack, you usually want to stack with one of your higher end pass catchers. And because you're competing with the other Arizona pass catcher team, you're like, shit, I got to get above the 8 ball here and just snipe them. And that's, I think, what's driving the price on Kyler. I don't think he's actually worth an 8th round pick. Tempted to go Waddle, but I saw a report that Keenan Allen is a potential option for the Dolphins. And if they bring in Darren Waller and Keenan Allen, then all of the upside I was excited about when Jonnu got traded kind of goes out the window. If they bring in Keenan Allen, that would really suck for Jalen Waddle. And I do think Keenan's going to play next year. I don't think Keenan is retiring. And last year, Keenan had 7 touchdowns. He was a big thorn in the side for DJ Moore and Rome Odunze. If he goes to Miami, that's going to be a big bummer in the red zone for someone like Waddle. So I will just stick with who I think is a very safe pick. Also provides a late round stacking option in Calvin Ridley with Cam Ward. And this is a valid question. Reflect this on. I also think Amari Cooper is going to play as well. Amari Cooper is 31 years old. You know who else is 31 years old? The player I just drafted, Calvin Ridley. Amari Cooper just turned 31. Meanwhile, Ridley, I'm on the clock. I'm going to go DeAndre Swift above David Montgomery. Could have gone with both Lions receivers, but I'm gonna just bet on Gibbs being the guy. And spoiler, I'm going to post it tomorrow morning. It's literally being uploaded to YouTube right now, edited today. My running back rankings do have Swift 1 spot above Dave Montgomery. I'm on the Swift bandwagon this year. But yeah, Calvin Ridley will be 31 by the end of the year. He's 30 and a half. So 6 months younger than Amari Cooper. Did have that suspension, so it kind of doesn't feel that way. But Ridley's pretty much just as old as Amari Cooper. And yes, Cobra, Kittle is also 31. Mahomes at 73. Interesting. That team has Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy. They could have gambled to get him, but doesn't always happen. Yeah, Ridley's not someone you think of as over 30 years old. And technically, he's not 31 yet. He is 6 months younger than Amari Cooper. But they were drafted, not like a year after each other. Amari Cooper feels like he's been in the league for a decade. Ridley doesn't feel that way because of the suspension. But, yeah, this is what I was hoping for. Feel very comfortable with Ricky Pearsall in this round. And even though I was tempted to grab Jacoby Myers at 67, I got a shit ton of Jacoby. I've been wanting to get back in on Swift. I've been fading him as he's been moving up the board, but I'm ready to commit to Swift again. I was taking Swift all day long back when these tournaments first dropped in May, when he was like a pick 123 off the board. And I followed him all the way up the board to like pick 85, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna cool it. Now he like consistently goes at the 6-7 turn, and it's been a while since I've gotten him, and I do think he could fucking crush this year. So I'm just gonna bite the bullet and like accept the higher price. I have a lot of cheap shares of Swift, so it does compensate, but um, I think he's a good pick. As long as he stays healthy, I think he's a good pick. Yeah, it was insane how late Swift was going back in April. And then coming out of the draft, they didn't draft anyone except Kyle Manungai until the 7th round. It was like, yeah, green fucking light. This is a great value. And like at that time, like Najee Harris was going at like where I just took Swift. Like Najee Harris was a 6th round pick at that time, right before they took Hampton. And then the two of them just fucking completely switched places. I was not drafting Najee in those days. Very happy I was not drinking the Kool-Aid on Najee. But so far this team is pretty good. Like we mentioned, we're passing on Kyler. I'm not going to force the issue with Kyler. Don't think he's a good pick here in round 8. And then we could go Ayuk to pair with Pearsall, and then grab Brock Purdy. And I think that's what I'm going to do, because all of the Niners teams, we have Kittle at pick 12, and then there's McCaffrey at pick 7. Juwan Jennings is to team 11. So I am the furthest team on the right half of the board that would be setting up a Brock Purdy stack. So with Pearsall and Ayuk, the plan at 102 is to draft Brock Purdy. Now, if Kyler's there, it's going to be tempting not to pass. But I have seen in the past, something has happened where I've noticed Kyler sometimes falls into like the 110s, because if both teams with Harrison and McBride pass, and then the James Conner team also happens to be on that side of the board, then nobody's trying to stack. And if people are savvy and they know the risk with Kyler, then they also pass as well. But I wouldn't bet on it. I would expect the team with Harrison at pick 3 to grab Kyler at pick 99. He does not have a quarterback yet. His first wide receiver taken was Harrison. I would expect and anticipate team 3 to draft Kyler. So the teams for me so far is Gibbs, Swift, A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, Calvin Ridley, Ricky Pearsall, and Ayuk. Kyler gets passed up on. And I can tell you right now, I'm not going to be the one that takes him. Kyler goes. Yeah, people like that rushing upside. I will take Brock Purdy. Happily give me Brock Purdy. But yeah, on the season, Kyler had 572 rushing yards. Meanwhile, Caleb Williams had 489. And on a per-game basis, Kyler was running for how many rushing yards? 33.6. 33.6 was his per-game average. Meanwhile, if we scroll down to, I've done this, Drake May. Drake May in his full games averaged 36.3 rushing yards per game. So you actually get more rushing yards on a per game basis with Drake May than you do with Kyler. Meanwhile, everyone is very reluctant to draft Drake May at that same price. It's because of the stacks. If it was not for the stacking options with Marvin Harrison and Trey McBride, Kyler Murray would not be going this late. This early. He'd be going around maybe 2 cheaper. All of that to say, I will be ranking Drake May above Kyler Murray this year. I have more faith in Drake May than I do Kyler. Okay, so Caleb Williams, Tyron Tracy, Mark Andrews, Travis Etienne, Ingram, Scadaboo, Bateman-Njoku, Kraft, Charbonnet. And then do we set up like Cam Ward later, or do we just take who I've been lobbying for? Yeah, let's do it. Let's take an unstacked Drake May. Damn it. I just got double 14 on the bye week. Bummer. But that always feels nice to have Drake May. It's kind of easy to forget about him. But I think he's going to be really good. When he was active, he did average 16 fantasy points per game. Kyler averaged 17.4. I do expect a year 2 leap for May with a big upgrade at offensive coordinator. Josh McDaniels should help Drake May a lot. He made Mac Jones a Pro Bowler in Mac Jones' rookie season. Reflect the Sun. I was reviewing Roshan Johnson today. He only had 2.3 yards per carry last year. Seems the door is wide open for Monangai. Yeah, if not for the touchdown value on Roshan, there's not that much to be excited about. That's one reason why I trust Swift so much. But 7th round rookies usually don't get involved that much. But this was a really good running back class. So I think the average 7th round rookie is not emblematic of what to expect this season. I need running back bad. And I do rank Tyjae above J.K. Dobbins. But Dobbins falling a little bit. I guess I'll mix him in. I don't have a lot of J.K. Dobbins. ADP 118 these days. We get him at 126. Tyjae, ADP of 126. A more common pick. But I think perhaps a better pick. I would trust Tyjae to stay healthy a little bit more than Dobbins. Last year, they both did miss 5 games. But I think Tyjae has a slightly easier path to be the RB1 in Tennessee. Meanwhile, Dobbins does not. And damn it, I do have Ridley. I forgot. Oh, the ADP value blinded me. It would have made more sense to grab Tyjae and then stack both of them with Cam Ward. That actually would have made a lot more sense. Tyjae is a very good pass catcher. Ayuk in the 8th is gross. I know you're a Ayuk hater, Jamie. I am not. I'm a Ayuk truther. I just can't quit Ayuk. I can't. But yeah, especially with the stack, justified. And in these tournaments, we expect him to be healthy at the end of the season. That's when all the money is made. And Ayuk has a 30-point ceiling. Ayuk can put up 175 yards and 2 touchdowns in any given game. With Pearsall and Ayuk, I feel good about it. It's easy to forget I have McBride on this team, but that's why the running back room is so gross. We could go Hollywood technically, but I don't feel desperate about it. I think I'm gonna go Rashad. I think I need some floors, some floor games out of these backup running backs. With Dobbins, I don't feel that safe. And even when Rashad was the backup, he was averaging 9+ points per game. Like, that's better than what Jaylen Warren averaged last year when healthy. And then obviously if Bucky goes down, we got some upside. But I'm planning a Hunter Henry combination on this team. My favorite stack with Drake May is not Stephon Diggs. It's not Kyle Williams. Sometimes I kind of like taking Demario Douglas just because he's really cheap. But in reality, my favorite stack is Hunter Henry with Drake May. I don't think Hunter Henry's going to disappear. And he was the number one target for Drake May last year. He probably... His numbers probably dip down a little bit. That probably gets diminished. But he's going in the 14th round, and I think he might be a better pick than Jake Ferguson, Dallas Goedert, maybe even Loveland and Tyler Warren, perhaps. I'm on the clock, so Hollywood Brown fell. It's pick 150. He goes 135, and there's no good running backs available. Don't feel compelled to reach on a tight end. I'll take the falling value on Hollywood. We got to get back into receiver at some point. And of all the Chiefs I'm comfortable taking, I think he's probably, I mean, clearly the most well-priced option you can get. So here's the team. We got Brock Purdy, Drake May. I think I need a third just because of the Week 14 bye situation. And then at running back, I have Jahmyr Gibbs, DeAndre Swift, J.K. Dobbins, and Rachaad White. So a little bit thin, but with Gibbs, I think it's fine. Swift is our RB2. I'm very comfortable with that. Dobbins, I really regret taking. I wish I took Tajay because it would have 100% justified a Cam Ward selection. But it is what it is. And then Rachaad White as well. Decent backup to have. Wide receiver, we have A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, Calvin Ridley, Ricky Pearsall, Brandon Ayuk, the double stack with Purdy, Hollywood Brown, and then tight end Trey McBride. So McBride does kind of carry this team a little bit extra. Jonnu Smith off the board. If Jonnu was available at 163 for me, I probably would have taken Jonnu and grabbed like a Aaron Rodgers because we have DK Metcalf. That's also a possibility, but Jonnu's off the board. Player I want is Hunter Henry, but he's not critical, in all honesty. If we pass, it's really not the end of the world. However, if we pass on Cam Ward, I'm pretty much locked into drafting Aaron Rodgers, and I don't want to do that. I'd much rather have Cam Ward than Rodgers. I will just take Cam Ward. His bye is in week 10. Perfect. Okay. That's our quarterback room. Brock Purdy, Drake May, Cam Ward. Drake May can also be unstacked. You can get away with Drake May unstacked because of the rushing value. But Cam Ward with Ridley. There we go. And then now we also have Chigo Okonkwo open to us if Hunter Henry does not fall back around. But looks like there's a lot of tight end picks already on this side of the board. Like the team at 1 has Tyler Warren, and that's it. But team 2 has Goddard and Kincaid. Team 3 has Laporta and Travis Kelce. And then team 4 has Bowers and Jake Ferguson. Team 2 goes Hunter Henry. So I'm not going to get lucky. But I probably wasn't going to get lucky anyway. Team 5 does not have a tight end at all. I would expect them to probably take Hunter Henry if available. So we trade off one stack for another. I think it's better to have the quarterback stacked up for that third option than Hunter Henry. We have McBride, so yeah, really unnecessary to force the issue with Hunter Henry. Would have been nice, but unnecessary. But I did mention I'm also comfortable with Demario Douglas. So if Maddie here passes, that will be the pick. And I think he's going tight end. So yeah, he goes Zach Ertz. Let's go Demario Douglas. Let's get our stack. And then I think we're done at receiver. We have A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, Calvin Ridley, Pearsall, Ayuk, Hollywood Brown, and Demario Douglas. I think I can get away with 7 on this team for sure. We have 3 quarterbacks. We're grabbing 1 more tight end. So that would leave us with 6 other spots. We have 4 running backs. And in round 18, we'll flip a coin on whether or not we'll grab running back 6 or wide receiver 8. We'll figure that out when the time is needed. But got the Hall of Fame Tillman. Got a counter with the 1,250 yards, 25 catch receiver. Yeah, you know Dante Thornton is putting up another 25 yards per reception this year. You know for a fact. He's only going to catch 50 balls, but that's going to turn into 1,250 yards. Lock it in. Big game does have Geno with Tillman. There we go, Jamie. You got Tillman at 155. Now I like it. That's where he's normally going. Got the proper value on Tillman. I think I'm just going to take a Chigo Okonkwo. There's that team with with only 1 tight end that just took Zach Ertz. I think might double tap the position. So let's get ahead of that and grab our Cam Ward stack. We have Chigo Okonkwo, Trey McBride, Okonkwo and Ridley to pair up with Cam Ward. That feels good. And then there's 2 rounds left. I need a running back here. Absolutely need a running back. I like Giddens. I like Lloyd. I'm comfortable with Justice Hill. Giddens comes off the board. I've also been mixing in Brashard Smith a little bit more lately. I do kind of like Brashard Smith. If Pacheco's not the guy, I think Brashard Smith will take the job. Inevitably, I think he'll take the job. I don't really want to bet on Kareem Hunt working out again at his age. And then Elijah Mitchell just seems to always be hurt. If it's Elijah Mitchell, that's going to be really funny because almost nobody ever drafts Elijah Mitchell. His ADP is like well outside the top 216. But there has been some camp hype on Brashard Smith. Very good pass catcher, former wide receiver. And I'm not dying to draft Nick Chubb, so the plan is for Brashard Smith. Lloyd gets taken by Shamrock. Good pick, Shamrock. Ferguson off the board. We will take Brashard Smith. 7th round rookie. May do nothing. Might be the guy in Kansas City. Isaiah Pacheco himself was also a 7th round pick. So now the question is, am I good enough with 7 receivers that I just take a 6th running back? Because with Dobbins, Rachaad White, Brashard Smith behind Swift and Gibbs, I think I could absolutely justify needing a 6th running back here. A.J. Brown, Metcalf, Ridley, Pearsall, Ayuk, Hollywood, and Demario Douglas. I don't think I need wide receiver 8. Like, all the receivers you're taking at this range in the draft are big gambles. Could really do jack fucking shit. Really offer nothing. And although it's tempting to bring in Demarcus Robinson to cover our Ayuk weeks that he's not available, we already have Pearsall. We're already rolling with Pearsall. It's not the end of the world. But in case you're looking for an option yourself later, when you're drafting and you have Purdy and you don't know who to take, Demarcus Robinson is one of the only healthy receivers at camp right now. Granted, they're not really at camp this very second, but in the training camps they have had, Demarcus Robinson is like the only guy that was like running routes consistently. So, especially when Ayuk is not healthy, he will be on the field. But I haven't taken this guy in a while, and I got like really obsessed with him for a while, and then I was like, it might be risky. I'm going to move off him for a little bit. I am back on board the Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt train. I'm going to go with JCM Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, another 7th-round pick. But Brian Robinson, I think, has limited job security, a short leash this year, was not very productive last season, didn't get a shit ton of volume, was very touchdown dependent in order for success, and we saw Jeremy McNichols and Chris Rodriguez fill in for him and still be productive. I think a 7th-round pick like Merritt could be involved as well, especially if Austin Eckler does get hurt. So I'm a believer in Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. Might be a 0, but so could anyone in this range. We already have Pearsall and Ayuk. I'm going to ignore Demarcus Robinson. So that is the team. We go with Gibbs, Swift, Dobbins, Rashad White, Brashard Smith, and Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. I really wish I had Tyjae Spears instead of J.K. Dobbins. But at tight end, I have Trey McBride and Chig Okonkwo. My quarterbacks are Brock Purdy for that double stack in San Francisco. I have Drake May stacked up with Demario Douglas, and I have Cam Ward stacked up with Okonkwo and Ridley. My full receiving room is A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, Calvin Ridley, Ricky Pearsall, Brandon Ayuk, Hollywood Brown, Demario Douglas, and that is the team. Let's take a look at big game pick 11, drafting with us. Yeah, I can definitely give you some feedback for your team. You have Malik Neighbors, Derrick Henry, so decent start. I'm not in love with the Breece Hall pick, but I understand why people take him. Mike Evans in the 4th, that's pretty good. Juwan Jennings at 59. Joe Burrow unstacked. Like, Joe Burrow's good, but I usually don't take him unstacked, so kind of unnecessary, but I get the temptation to take him. Sometimes it feels like it's a mistake to pass on him, but because he doesn't have the rushing upside, in order to like beat out other teams with Joe Burrow, you kind of need the stack. The stack is a little bit necessary, I think, for Joe Burrow to really elevate you at the end of the season in winning fashion. But you also have Khalil Shakir. Very good value on Khalil Shakir. I like that. I think you kind of needed receiver, so that's a good pick. Brian Robinson Jr., I just kind of shit on him. I am fading B-Rob personally. But one of the last starting running backs, I understand the pick. You only had Henry and Breece Hall. But in general, personally, I'm just passing on Brian Robinson. I think I would have taken Diggs instead. The falling value on Diggs, I think, was worth it. Ingram and Njoku. Reached on Njoku a little bit, but Njoku is very talented, very high upside. I understand. Javonte at a value. That's not bad. Kyle Williams, Cedric Tillman. And then Geno Smith. Is he stacked up? No, he is not. And then Rodgers, I believe, also unstacked. So, yeah, with no quarterback stacks, I'm not in love with this roster. But, like you're saying, don't usually draft in these tournaments. The stacks are so critical in the tournaments. That's the only thing to keep in mind. But Mason Taylor, I do like your 3rd tight end. And then Taj Brooks does have some value. Elik Ayamanor might pop. He is a rookie. We're not totally sure what the target share will be. Yeah, I think you're just a little too over the board. Like, you're too spread out, I think, with some of your team investments, especially with no quarterback stacks. I think that's where you're going wrong. Like, I don't think I would have taken Burrow. I think I would have opened the door for another stack, and then I would have targeted some other combinations. But it could work. It's possible. Sometimes we stress the stacks, me and other creators, but like hypothetically they might be overrated. But there is some data that really indicates you kind of need it for success. So yeah, that's the only problem I kind of see here is a lack of stacking options. Like, I did snipe you on Purdy. You could have grabbed Jackson Dart super late. That's the thing with Neighbors. It's kind of hard to grab a stacking option with him. And then your only other stacking option would have been like Baker Mayfield at 86. I might have just gone Baker at 86 personally, but I think taking Diggs at 87 and then grabbing Drake May at 110 would have been pretty nice. I think that's where I would change it. Try and get some stacks. But Shamrock was also in with us at pick 2. He goes Jefferson Jacobs, Garrett Wilson, Jalen Hurts, unstacked Jalen Hurts, not bad. Chuba Hubbard at 50, Jacoby Myers, Jerry Jeudy, Jordan Mason, Jaden Higgins, Trey Harris. Really good value on Trey Harris. I like that. Justin Herbert at 122 to pair with him. That's nice. Goddard to pair with Hurts, so you do have a stacked Hurts. Kincaid at a value, 146. Hunter Henry at 167. I do like the value on Hunter Henry a lot. Rico Dowdle, Justice Hill, Marshawn Lloyd to fill in the running back position. I think very justified given you had Jordan Mason as your third. And then A.D. Mitchell in round 18. So I think Shamrock's team is pretty good. Love the Trey Harris, Justin Herbert combination. Such a value on Trey Harris. That's nice. And then didn't ignore receiver. I like the team Shamrock. I think you did well. Second draft in a row. I think Shamrock did pretty well. I do like my team a lot, though. Normally, I never draft McBride. But if Kittle's all of a sudden going to be a round 3 pick these days, and McBride goes pick 30, then I'll probably be taking McBride a lot more. But in general, McBride is not available this late. So a rare McBride team for yours truly. Anyways, we were doing one more. We're going to do one last puppy. Where is it? Here we go. Okay. Give me just a minute. Get yourself ready if you want to draft with me. This cat is hungry. I gotta feed the cat. That was weird. Yeah, this one's weird. I don't blame you. Sometimes she is. Okay. Okay. Want more? Okay. Hungry as fuck today. Okay. We're gonna do one last puppy. I've gotten to the point where I'm doing 3 on the streams every time. So I'm getting ready on the phone. It is queued up. If you want to draft with me, I hope you're ready. Hit the button right now. 3, 2, 1. Should be synced up. I am joining. And there's 1 spot left, so you would have had to click it before me to get in, hopefully, if you want to. But odds are you may not be in this one, given I was one of the last people to get in. But I do see Big Game in. I do see you, Jamie. Try and get some stacks this time, buddy. Try and stack it up. Cobra, that is the correct spelling on Leia. That is how, like Princess Leia from Star Wars. She is a Bengal. Bengal, not an American tabby. Yeah, I slept on the chat for a while. I missed a lot of y'all's comments. Sorry about that. I'm gonna take CeeDee Lamb. We'll go with an elite receiver on this one. We just took Gibbs, and I think I have more Saquon than CeeDee Lamb. That's the reason why I'm doing it. Okay. Yeah, maybe the angle was kind of weird, but yeah, she's a Bengal. That's why she's such a Joe Burrow fan. You have 2 Bengals. Oh shit. Nice. Yeah, I may be there with you soon, man. California might be banning these. That's why I'm trying to get in as many as I can before that shit happens. I think their bluff is being called. Like, the Attorney General laid out an opinion that this thing shouldn't be available, but like an opinion is not a law, you know. So they might be drafting the law. It might come in soon, but until it does, there's nothing in writing that is legally binding that says I cannot be doing this in California. So we'll see. Monangai seems limited chance of anything. I know you just saw Rojo's yards per carry, but at least he was getting goal line work, and Monangai was a 7th rounder. There is a shot on Monangai. I know that wasn't directed at me, but it's funny. I have confidence in Brashard Smith, a 7th rounder. I have confidence in Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, a 7th rounder. But with Kyle Monangai, I don't know. I'm not totally sold. A 4.6? That's not very fast. Oh, Bucky Irving off the board. I wanted Bucky Irving, but oh, we almost get Ladd. That would have been nice. I just took an elite tight end team, so I'm going to go Josh Jacobs. I will continue to be the Chiefs hater and pass on Rashee Rice. But that might be a pretty good pick. I'm just worried that teams 1 and 2 snipe me on Jacobs and Chase Brown, and then I'm just, without what I consider to be an elite running back. So just playing the turn, not necessarily playing my rankings. I'm looking at the board. I expected Bucky or Taylor to be available there, and they were not. The plan was really to go CeeDee Lamb, Bucky Irving. Just didn't happen. So maybe I should have just taken Saquon. Maybe this will be a Justin Fields team. We go Garrett Wilson. CeeDee Lamb, Josh Jacobs, Garrett Wilson. That's the start. Feels fine. Counterpoint, Bucky was 4, 5, 6, I believe. It was strange how very good running backs like Damian Martinez went in the 7th too. Yeah, there were some really good talented running backs available in the 7th, but I can't say Kyle Monangai was on my radar at the same rate as those guys entering the draft, but he did have some good stats at Rutgers. 2 straight years as a junior and senior with over 1,200 rushing yards. 14 total touchdowns last year. Not a massive pass catcher, though. To max out at 14 receptions in college is pretty negligible. So I don't think he's really getting in on 3rd down very much. I don't think that's a skill set to be too worried about. But then his college yards per carry, 5 yards per carry is not that great in college. Like, you kind of need to crack like 6 to really impress me. 5 yards per carry is not that high. Yeah. There was a lot of running backs drafted last year. Like a crazy high amount. Daniels goes 43. Lamar went 29. Wow, someone reached heavy on Lamar. Oh, I wanted to marry Hampton. That's a bummer. Seems like official that Jalen Hurts is now a 4th round pick. But let's still gamble that we can get him in the 5th. Sometimes it still happens. Let's go Devontae Smith and hope for the best. If we're the only team with an eagle, then maybe they pass on Jalen Hurts. But even if I don't get Jalen Hurts, I still think Devontae Smith is a good pick here in the 4th round. So far, it's got a shot. Need all 3 teams to pass one more time. No, it doesn't happen. Adam Maniac snipes me. That's okay. I'm going to take George Pickens, and now we're just kind of locked into Dak Prescott. Hopefully we don't get sniped on him. But usually he's there in the 10th round at 117. So we've got dual Cowboys receivers. Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith, a good wide receiver room so far. And then Josh Jacobs as our anchor running back up through the first 5 rounds. Plan to go running back with our next pick. But that team at 5, put me in a bit of a jam. I wanted Omarion Hampton for sure. If Hampton was there at 45, I would have easily taken him. Reflect the Sun says the Bears' big O-line upgrades and Monangai's tape still jumps out to me, but it's just an idea. Who knows? You never know. It's totally possible. Their O-line did massively improve. So there is reasons to be optimistic about the running back room. That's why I like DeAndre Swift. But Monangai wasn't like at the top of my radar. And the lack of receiving work for him, it could be hard for him to get on the field. But it's not like Roshan is that good. Also, it's a new head coach that did not draft Roshan, did not sign DeAndre Swift. Maybe they really believe in Monangai. It's possible. To pretend like I know for a fact would be just bullshit, you know. My bets don't invest in Monangai. I go with Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt a little bit more. But that's because I kind of just like the odds of Brian Robinson and Eckler not working out a little bit more than Swift and Roshan not working out. I think Swift will still be fine. That's why I'm a little less excited in the 7th round rookie in Chicago. But I'm also willing to gamble on Brashard Smith because I don't know for a fact that the Chiefs backfield is, committed to Pacheco. Yeah, I'll go Montgomery. We went Swift on the last one. We'll mix it up. And the main reason I passed on Montgomery in the last one for Swift is because I had Gibbs. I didn't really want both Gibbs and Montgomery on the same team. It's a little unnecessary. And like best case scenario for Gibbs is if Monty does go down. And if that's what we're kind of hoping for the elite ceiling on Gibbs, then the logic of passing on Montgomery and on that specific team, makes a little bit more sense. Jamie in love with Roshan. Jamie, how's your team looking so far? You have Puka, Taylor, JSN, Chuba at 42. Whoa, a little bit high for me on Chuba, but will lead to a unique combo. And then Jalen Waddle at 55, Caleb Johnson 66. Get your guys. Just try to get a stack this time. That's my only request. Do whatever you want. Just try and get a stack. Judy falls to pick 76. I don't really take Judy very often, but at this price, I don't think I will pass. I'll just take Judy at the discount. Okay, so receivers loaded. Lamb, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith, George Pickens, and Jerry Jeudy. I like this price on Jeudy. 8 picks past ADP. Always nice. And then running back, Josh Jacobs, Dave Montgomery. I should probably mix him in. I think this is valid. Anyone that late is worth a shot for sure. There is a path. I acknowledge there is a scenario, a range of outcomes where it does work out on Monangai. I should probably take him at least once or twice every now and then. But so far, I have yet to take him. I think the last time I took him was like week 2 in May. Like, I don't think I have more than like 1 or 2 shares of Monangai. Sorry, I'm just checking my texts. I've got something I've ignored. It's not loading. Y'all don't care. Y'all don't care what my phone is doing. Whew. Do I have a lot of week 9 buys on my team? I'm not even paying attention. Week 5, week 8. Yeah, we have 3 week 9 buys with Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith, and Jerry Jeudy. That's okay. But thank you for letting me know. Might be a tiebreaker to keep in mind. I guess I'll take Brian Robinson. I don't take him a lot, but we just took Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. B-Rab should keep him off the field. When it comes to my rankings, I do have him as the highest available option. So, F it. Not my favorite pick, but a little bit past ADP, a little bit more justified. And I plan to grab 2 quarterbacks in the next 2 rounds. So, maybe don't get completely behind the 8 ball at running back. The plan is for Fields and then Dak. But I have gotten sniped on Fields in the past. Bo Nix goes off. Fields, let's go. Available. Reflect the Sun, thank you very much, my friend. Thank you for the donation. You know it's going directly to the cat treat fund. That shit does add up. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. The only thing I don't like about the super chats, though, YouTube takes a substantial percentage of them. They take 30% of super chat donations. Isn't that insane? Like, essentially, they're like tips. Like, who the fuck takes tips from their employer? You know? Yeah, that is a lot. Like, I get it. Like, without their platform, I wouldn't get it at all. You know, in a sense, but 30%. What the fuck are they doing to justify 30% of that? Nothing. Yeah. But appreciate it, bro. Thanks a lot. You know it. I am not sponsored by Aldi, but I do recommend them to y'all. They just have good fucking prices on groceries. They're Oh, Dak goes at pick 107. Just to someone that wants him. Might go Charbonnet. Kind of tempted to take another Drake May pick here, but I think we can fade quarterback for just a minute. Most of the teams at this turn have 2 QBs already. This team has Baker, Bo Nix. The other team has Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray. There's a world that May comes back around. So I'll take Charbonnet. Get another running back. At least I got Fields, but Wanted Dak. Dak goes well above ADP. 107 unstacked feels like it must be a Cowboy fan. I don't know. Indeed. Team at 2 goes Goff and Drake May. So nope. In that case, we do have Judy. Maybe go Njoku. I mean, I don't want to take fucking Flacco though. I haven't drafted a single Browns quarterback yet. That's one of the main reasons I do not take Jerry Judy in general. I've never been to Grocery Outlet. I've never been there. I've seen some near where I live, but I've never been there. Should probably give it a shot. Okay, so here's the team. We have Justin Fields stacked up with Garrett Wilson. At running back, I have Jacobs, David Montgomery, Brian Robinson, and Zach Charbonnet. Tight end is David Njoku. And then the receiving core is CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith, George Pickens, and Jerry Judy. Unfortunately, I do not get the deck I wanted. Prescott, not available at 117. So maybe Kyle Williams comes back around. But usually in this tier, I'm grabbing a tight end or running back. So probably going to go Isaiah Likely if available. It's usually who I want. Which draft is this? This is the third of the stream. It's on the Puppy 2. We've been drafting in the Puppy all night. And until it closes, that'll probably be what I'm drafting in. On Sunday, we are doing a BBM per request. We will be doing a Best Ball Mania on Sunday evening. But otherwise, I'm probably just doing puppies. Do I pass on Tootin at 141? I don't think I can do it. I'm going to take Tootin. I just continue to take Tootin. Also, I want to get all of my like impulses to draft Tootin out of the way in Best Ball because I do not want any of the Jags running backs in redraft. I don't want to deal with that headache in season long. When you actually have to decide when you're starting a Jags running back, that is going to be a nightmare. That is going to be chasing production that never repeats week to week. You're going to think you got a good matchup and it's going to be the wrong one that's in your lineup. I think Jags running backs are a quick path for L's in season long. In Best Ball, give him to me at 141 all day. Yeah, this is the overboard, overdramatic late round price on Tootin. I think it's gone too far. Especially when ETN goes 95. ETN wasn't even better than Bigsby on a per game basis last year, and now everyone's just convinced he's going to bounce back. I do not believe it. Another guy that's kind of older than you would think, and likely still there for us. It works out perfectly. Works out fucking perfect. We still get Isaiah Likely. Okay, so maybe I do take a Flacco on this team, just for shits and giggles. But I'm definitely gonna need a third quarterback as well. Okay, get that in frame, and then how old do you guys think ETN is? in the chat, what age do you believe Travis Etienne to be? I'll wait for some guesses. We got 23 from Franco. Cobra is correct at 26, and Reflect the Sun says 27. I probably shouldn't have said a sneaky old guy. But yeah, 26 years old, and it's only July 9th. He turns 27 in like January or February. Dev guessed 24. Yeah, you wouldn't think it. But he also missed his rookie season entirely, and it's like very easy to forget. I think he played all 4 years in college. Yeah, he played all 4 years at Clemson, and then at age 22, he had a Lisfranc injury in the preseason that cost him that rookie year. So his first touches in the NFL, he was 23 years old. And by the time the season is over, by the time the next Super Bowl champion is crowned, Etienne will be turning 27. Doesn't feel like it, but that is sneaky old. Like it felt like he was 24. I before I looked it up, I was like, this guy's gonna be 25 this year. He's got to be only 24. Nope, 26. Which isn't like that much different, but you know, it's just a reminder, like, he doesn't have as many years left in his career, left in his prime, as you might think. Gonna get ahead of this and go with Geno Smith. I think he's the best quarterback left available. And then y'all know who I'm planning to grab to stack up with him. I'm sure the Bowers team got to be pissed. But they took Drake May from me. They can suck it. Y-Bucks with Bowers. The team with Jacoby Myers did just pass. Dev says Tootin isn't good at running between the tackles. He's at best the worst pass blocker on the team. LaQuint Allen was the best pass blocker in the class. I know, LaQuint Allen kind of scares me a little bit. No one ever mentions LaQuint Allen. But I'm not betting on Tootin to be catching passes. That's not why I like him. He's got the speed to just break some plays open. I only want him in best ball. I do not want him in redraft at all. But in best ball, give me those 80-yard touchdowns. Franco likes Bigsby. I'm going to take Mason Taylor here because my running back room is all set. I probably didn't need Taylor at all in hindsight. I forgot I had Njoku. I just wanted the Justin Fields combo. My plan is to take Deontay Thornton in the next round. I should maybe just take Deontay Thornton there. Oh, I think this is spot on. I don't think Etienne will ever reclaim the glory. I probably should have just taken him. Sorry, Jamie. I got the stack. It's justified. I forgot I had the third. I forgot I had 2 tight ends already. Does a bad O-line favor a bruiser like Bigsby or an electric Tootin? I honestly have no idea. The only thing is that I know for a fact is that there was already 2 running backs on the roster, and the new GM and head coach decided, let's draft 2 more. I think they're moving off both guys inevitably. That's my opinion. I'm just trusting the new regime and all of the indicators that they're saying, yeah, we do not feel committed at all to the running backs that are already on this roster. Let's not just take one in the fourth. Let's take a second in. Did he go in the sixth or the seventh? When did LaQuint Allen get taken? LaQuint is actually really interesting. Also a seventh round pick. So another seventh rounder that was a bit of a steal. Not a bit of a steal, a true steal. Oh, let's go. We get him. We get our boy. We get the 1,250 yards on 25 yards per reception. Stud Dante Thornton. 6'5", 4'3". He's my boy. I'm starting to just hammer Dante Thornton in the 16th round. Okay. I'm done at running back. I need another quarterback, and I definitely need another receiver. We've got 5 good ones. Thankfully, I think I can get away with what this is looking like. Problem is, I'm kind of locked into the Browns quarterback. That's the big problem here. A.D. Mitchell goes. Damn it. I wanted to justify Daniel Jones, but Daniel Jones is a good runner of the football. That's where his true upside lies. Let's say F it, and let's just take Daniel Jones. I don't want to take Flacco or just pray I'm drafting the right Browns guy. Like, it's probably going to be Kenny Pickett. Watch it be Kenny Pickett who gets all this, like the majority of starts in Cleveland. I don't trust Dylan Gabriel. I have no faith in Shadur Sanders anymore. Just give me Daniel Jones, and I'll live to fight another day. That team with A.D. Mitchell goes Anthony Richardson. Incorrect. Reports say that Daniel Jones is already like at a massive advantage for the job in the Colts offense. Oh, you got Brenton Strange at 175. That's a good price on Brenton Strange. That's very nice. Yeah, way to stack. Congratulations. Yeah, day 3 pick in the Liam Cohen system correlates. But another reason why I like him in best ball is because he's like the fastest running back in the NFL. 100th percentile speed on Bashal Tutin. 4.3240 at 5'9", 206. Weight adjusted 98th percentile. Burst score 97th percentile. Pretty much as good as it gets in terms of speed. So I just want him to break open some plays for me. Fuck. We're running out of time. 6 seconds. Give me Jermaine Burton. I refuse to quit on Jermaine Burton. All right, here's the team. That's 18 rounds. We have Fields as our QB1, Geno Smith as the QB2, and then Daniel Jones as the QB3. Daniel Jones unstacked, Geno stacked up with our boy Dante Thornton, and Justin Fields stacked up with Garrett Wilson and Mason Taylor. Our running back room, we went a little bit heavy early on, but I think we have a pretty good one. Josh Jacobs, David Montgomery, Brian Robinson Jr., who I'm actually very terrified of this season, but still worth mixing in. Zach Charbonnet, an elite handcuff, averaged 17.6 points per game in 5 weeks without Kenneth Walker. Or maybe it was 6 games. It was either 5 or 6 games, but 17.5 points on average from Charbonnet as the RB1. That is what we are looking for from Charbonnet in best ball. We also have Bashal Tutin, 10 picks past ADP. As he plummets down the board, I think he's an excellent pick. In best ball strictly, 20 pounds heavier than A-Chain and the same 4.32. Yeah, so explosive player, hoping for the best. Wide receiver room, we went heavy early, and although we didn't get our stacks, I think because we drafted so many early on, it afforded us the luxury of some of our other depth. We have CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith, George Pickens with the plan for Dak Prescott. It did not work out. Dak got sniped 10 picks before us. We also have Jerry Jeudy at a discount, and then Dante Thornton, Jermaine Burton. Tight end is David Njoku, Isaiah Likely, and Mason Taylor. So Njoku and Likely have a elite ceiling if it is open to them. That is a nice combination to have in best ball. And then Mason Taylor for the field stack should have a good floor. And I think he's locked into the number 3 target in that Jets offense. I can't really see anyone else competing with him other than Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. I am not worried about Josh Reynolds. I am not worried about Alan Lazard or Malachi Corley or Arian Smith or whatever the fuck his name is. I like the team. I think we actually have a pretty good roster here. Glad I have the third quarterback, even with an unstacked Daniel Jones. It's perfectly fine. We got the rushing upside of Fields. We got one of the good values at quarterback in Geno Smith. I think he's going too late. I think he's going like a round too late. But big game drafted with us, and we're hoping he has some stacks on this one. We at least know he has a Trevor Lawrence stack. So let's take a look at big games roster. I'll actually pull it up here so I can see it by position. Okay, you went with a 3-5-7-3 build with Lawrence, Tua, and Darnold. I like that you have 3 quarterbacks giving you waited a little while. Running back, Taylor, Chuba, Caleb Johnson, Pollard, and Jarquez Hunter. I like that you stop at 5. That is some solid depth there. Wide receiver, Puka, JSN, Waddle, Michael Pittman, Luther Burden, Marvin Mims, Cedric Tillman, and then tight end, Evan Ingram, Brenton Strange, Terrence Ferguson. I love Terrence Ferguson, but I kind of feel a little bit shaky with some of the receiver depth here that I wish I had an 8th option. But Tillman might work out for you and save the whole thing. Burden, I've read that Burden has yet to sign his contract, and Ben Johnson is like pissed that he's not getting any reps on the field. Unless that was like an outdated article or something I saw. I've heard Ben Johnson kind of shit talking Burden recently. But yeah, the only thing I might have changed was instead of Terrence Ferguson, an 8th receiver. Maybe a De'Ami Brown, maybe a Malik Washington. I would have gone Torrey Horton or maybe MVS, but you have JSN with Darnold, you have Waddle with Tua, and you have Strange with Trevor Lawrence. I think you improved significantly, Jamie, from the previous draft. Let's go. Tillman is the next Dante Thornton. Another Tillman believer. Last year, I was a big Tillman endorser, and then he got his concussion and missed 6 games, and I was like, this is a big concern. His big numbers were with Jameis Winston. All of the big numbers last year for like every Cleveland Browns pass catcher were correlated with Jameis Winston. They don't have Jameis Winston anymore. And I'm not sure Flacco's going to get a full season. I'm not sure Flacco's going to get more than 5 weeks. That is why I'm usually kind of off some of the Browns pass catchers. I say that after just drafting Jerry Jeudy and David Njoku. So understand, I'm not hating on them that much. but Tillman could absolutely crush. Tillman hopefully does crush. Anyways, I think you did much better on this one, Jamie. Love the stacks. And I think that's going to be it for tonight. It's been a little over 2 hours. We did 3 puppies. I think I'm going to call it. Had fun, everyone. Hope you did too. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. If you've made it this far in the live stream, I think I've earned your subscription. If you also enjoyed, hit that like button if you have not done so already. And tomorrow morning, I will be posting my running back rankings, part 2, running backs 21 through 42. So if you want to not only not miss out on that as soon as it's posted, ring the notification bell for all of our live stream updates. Anytime I go live, you'll also get a notification for that. And yeah, appreciate y'all hanging out with me. It's always fun, and really appreciate the chats, the super chat. Thank you, Reflect the Sun. Thank you very much. Peace to you and your cats as well. And no French accent. You can watch My Name is Earl if you really want it. Anyways, thanks everyone. I had a fun time. Peace out. Good night.